Welcome back to Jack Builds It. In this episode, we are putting the engine in and putting the car back together.
When my friend Freddie gave me this burn car and this crash damage car, little did I know how far along this journey was going to come. I used a lot of the burn car parts to repair the crash damage car. We cut the front end off the burn car, welded it onto the crash damage car. I found this custom body in the UK. We put custom carbon fiber floors into the car, as well as air jacks, and redid the AC system, along with some really cool GTR door handles. And now we got the engine started on the floor, and this car is coming back together today.
Kyle's back at the shop.
Hello.
Thanks again to Kyle, because without Kyle, making these videos would be a lot harder to do. And now Kyle's on board and we've become a bigger team. So now, teamwork part, we get to flip this
He's already
chassis.
making me do heavy labor. It's like day one that I'm here and he's like, hey, we need to flip a car over.
Just remember, lift with your knees. I don't have workers' comp.
Like this, just.
Probably pull it maybe this direction.
Okay.
And then we'll flip it that way.
How much weight can it take on the side?
It should be able to handle all of it. I did start welding yesterday, so those might break, but
Nah.
tilt it first. All right, perfect. That went exactly as planned. And you hear
It
all the
sounds like
rivets?
the P1.
That's rivets. Okay. It's gonna want to flip. All I hear is rivets falling through the chassis. The good thing is the mounts aren't moving. It's good.
They shouldn't.
And a little more. Oh, okay. Look at that.
Wow, there's stuff falling on the ground there.
That's rivets.
There's a lot of stuff falling. That's the seatbelt, actually.
There we go. All right, now all we have to do is drill about 1,000 holes and weld a bunch of stuff up.
Easy.
Go team.
Easy.
See you tomorrow.
You're not kidding when you said 1,000 holes. These little tiny holes, every single one of those has to get drilled out.
So just a few hundred.
At least. You want to take a bet?
Yeah, let's
300 holes.
Okay. Well, I think I ordered 500 nutserts and 500 bolts. So I'm gonna go 380.
This can be one of the most tedious things, drilling holes. One of the reasons why we had to lay all these panels on the car and drill the holes is so we got the exact same spot to put the bolts in when we put the nutserts in. This took forever, and thankfully Kyle was there, because this was a lot of work and it helped me tremendously move this car forward.
All right, so as you can see, we have drilled out all of these panels, and the reason we drilled these panels again is because we need to put nutserts on the other side on the frame. Now you can see here, there is a nutsert there, there's a nutsert there holding this one in place, and there's a nutsert there, and then so on. We need to put nutserts through the whole thing. But the reason why we drilled it bigger was so that we had a little bit of play to move these back and forth, because even though these are precise to the hole where they're at, when you put the nutsert in, it might go one way or the other. This will give us that extra space that we need. But now coming back here, this is one of the new panels that I have made. And yeah, it's a little bit off. And by a little bit off, I mean, if I stick my hand in there, we're like, what's that, like 4 inches?
Like 8 inches.
Yeah, 8. Yeah, so we're gonna take this pick here, we're just gonna come right underneath, and we're gonna drag that down the edge. And this should give us an exact line where we need to cut.
Now I try to be as precision as possible using a straight edge along with the air saw. Don't worry about the nicks that happen on the edge of the straight edge. This is a simple throwaway tool that you can get for less than $5. But as you can see here, I cut it as close as possible and use the DA to smooth out the edges. Now that we have the panel fitting, we make a paper template essentially out of tape. mark the holes, and then transfer this over to our new piece. These actually lined up really well and made it way easier to mark out and drill holes.
Yesterday we made a little bit of a bet, and what was the bet? It was how many holes were actually in this, and my guess was 380. What was your guess, Kyle?
I said 300.
Comment down below, what do you think is going to be? A drum roll, please, because yeah, 453 to be exact right now, and we're not done yet because we have quite a bit more to go. There's actually some panels being made by Joey that are going to cover this area here, and the reason I want to cover this is because it's a big open area that will create air turbulence. Car won't perform as well. We want a whole entirely flat bottom car, so those pieces are being made in carbon. Going to look cool. Just wanted to add something a little extra. So now that we have all of this drilled out, these panels are in place, we're going to replace this with a clean sheet that I have sitting right over there. That'll be drilled out later. We just needed to get the right holes in the right space. This was going to provide that. But back here, so we have, if we just said there's 10 on each of these bars, right? Let's just say 10. This is probably 20 on this bar, right? So 10, 10, 10, 10, that's 40, 20, that's 60. So we have at least 60 more holes going in this, plus the ones that are going up in the front that we're going to have there. So yeah, but we have something really special for back here because this originally had an aluminum diffuser, and here is our aluminum diffuser. This looks like crap. That's okay because the car was burnt to the ground anyway, but I think we can do better than that. I don't think we need to use an aluminum piece. Got the carbon floor here for the center.
Part of it in favor.
More carbon. We've got the carbon piece that goes here.
Part of it in favor.
We got the carbon piece that goes here. We have a carbon piece that goes here. The next one is a carbon piece that goes here. This guy is going to go like this right here, but the opposite way. It won't fit right now, that's why I'm putting it here. We are going to cut this out to the shape of that piece right there, and then once that is cut out into that piece, we're gonna drill some more holes and we're gonna put this piece on. So Kyle, how much fun did you have yesterday drilling holes out?
I had a blast. It was so fun. I love drilling holes for 8 hours.
So you guys commented before, right? You said like, oh, it's awesome that Jack has a camera guy now. This is great. It's not really a camera guy. This is all for free, right?
Yeah, it's unpaid.
Unpaid.
He doesn't pay me. He bought me lunch.
This lunch.
Once again, the air saw is used here to cut as close as possible to this panel. Once we have these things really close, I take a clamp and I clamp it together and make as tight of a cut as possible, and then we finish it off again with the DA. Now we mark out our diffuser, cut the lines, and add a little bit of extra space so that when the air comes off the back of the car, it has a little more space to disperse it and put it away from the car.
Now this thing looks really, really good. This is a glimpse of what the other side of the vehicle is going to look like. On this side, we are still going to run the aluminum panels. And the reason I'm running those aluminum panels is because it will protect from this getting fractured if something comes up and hits it. It still might fracture, but this will give it a little more protection with that aluminum. But I really, really, really love how good this looks. I mean, this completes the look of the car. And if you come back to the back, you can see here we have this panel finished, but now we also have this guy right here finished. This is nice and sturdy. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker. It looks really, really good. I'm stoked on it. Now what we have to do though is we have to remove all of these parts again. We have to flip this thing over. We got to get that mounted up here because tomorrow we are going to have the engine in, and then we're also going to have the wiring ran for the dashboard as well as the engine. So we're going to plan that out, map it out, or rope it out, as Eric would say. But before we do that, we need to make sure that thing fits so that by the end of this video, we can have this car looking more like a car again and being that much closer to the point of putting everything back on the car. We're still working, and now we are going to put the chassis underneath here, line up the body like he's doing, and yeah, hopefully it works because now we have to drill some more holes.
No more holes!
Let's get this guy on there.
This looks like something out of Mad Max right now.
Look at that though, dude. Would you look at that?
It's almost like someone who is a professional worked on this.
Here, hold on. There we go.
Just as I was saying, someone who's a professional.
Yeah.
A professional
Hack.
toddler.
Do you know what my name is in Spanish?
Hack.
Hack. It's all true.
There's not a Spanish version of the name Kyle, so they called me Maurice when I was in Spanish class.
Now his name is Maurice. So now I need to get started drilling these out so that tomorrow, when we go to fit that dashboard and put that engine in, this is finished and ready to go. By the end of this video, I want to see this thing looking more like a car. I'm going to drill out all these holes along this edge so that we can put nutserts in these, and they will no longer be screws, they will be held in by bolts. And that will make the car safer. Maybe. Not with me driving.
Here's a subtle but important modification. I am now drilling out these holes here. This was actually countersunk screws holding this piece in place, and I wanted to make this a bolt-on part. Now when we seal this up, we can bolt it in place knowing that it is extremely secure.
But the doctor said that it's totally normal to cry afterwards.
Kyle, you know I'm doing a video over here. I can hear everything you're saying.
Oh, sorry, you weren't supposed to hear that.
Using the internet without a VPN is like using your phone everywhere you go on speaker. It lets everybody know your personal business. Which brings me to today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. So I need to go over to the UK so I can get something for the Noble. We are going to be getting the front and rear clamshells on this, and I am going to be needing somewhere to stay. And if I don't use a VPN, these websites could use my personal data against me by charging me a higher price. ExpressVPN is an app that encrypts your online traffic and routes it through secure servers. This stops third parties like your ISP from monitoring what you are doing online. But it can help you do a lot of other cool things. For instance, while I was in the UK, I started watching Rick and Morty only to find out it wasn't available in the United States. But with ExpressVPN, I can change my location and gain access anywhere in the world. Don't get caught sharing your personal information with everybody. Download ExpressVPN today. Find out how you can get 3 months free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or going to expressvpn.com/JackBuildsIt. Now, let's get back to the build. All right, engine is able to start. We have everything on this now that we know we are going to use. So now it has to go into the car. And the reason it has to go into the car is because we're going to get a custom exhaust built for this car, as well as a different turbo setup. Here we have the burn car mount, which is a little bit crusty. I don't think it's supposed to move like that. I don't think that's supposed to happen.
It'll work.
It'll work. For what we're doing, it'll work. And it'll be off by like, half an inch, and then it'll throw the exhaust off, and then it'll all have to be redone.
Yeah, because all of this is perfect as is. Nothing is off at all.
No, because if it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna get a Sawzall and cut some stuff out of it and make it work. We are gonna get the engine into this, and later on, we're gonna start putting the wiring into this car and fitting that up so that we know where all of that goes. So without further ado, let's get started getting this engine there. Now we are jacking the engine up. We're gonna have this in here and ready for Eric. He should be here shortly with the ECU, the wiring and all of that, and then we'll be putting that in. But right now, we gotta get this guy, this big guy right here, in that little hole.
Wait, you're missing the coolest part. We're doing the first oil change on the Noble.
Oil change, that's right, you know what? We just put like, at least, I would say, what, it ran for a minute, like 1 minute, maybe, 45 seconds. It definitely needs an oil change.
Yeah, that's race car stuff. 45 seconds at a time, and then swap everything out.
We need to take off these coolers. So like I said, we just put the oil in this and we're basically wasting it. We're putting it back in here. But the only way to do that is dangerously. I don't know why I said that. It's not that dangerous.
To do an oil change? Or to use an impact wrench?
Impact. Look, oh my goodness.
That was loose.
That's hilarious.
Baby tight.
I never tighten this back up.
You ran it with a loose oil plug?
Maybe some of that oil was from the plug. Well, it looks good. And see here we have our magnetic tip. There is no shavings, and if you see this, it looks fresh. There is no bearing material, no sparklies. We're gonna take a light. We're gonna shine that light in here later. This pan has been used before and it wasn't cleaned, but I can tell you right now that if it is sparkly, we would be seeing it right now. That's crystal clear. That looks really, really good. And then we're getting towards the end of the oil too, so that would have been where it would have settled. And that looks clean, man. That's awesome, because this means this is a good engine, at least for a little while. Because if I get a hold of it, it might not be for a very short period of time. Because I like revs, I like turbos, I like going fast, I like high G corners. But that's what this car was built for, so we'll be good.
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh.
There was a little bit of water that got in there. That doesn't look bad though. That looks a lot cleaner.
Looked bad at first.
Yeah. You can tell when it mixes with any kind of oil or water because it immediately turns white. See how it's coming off the top of my thumb like that?
Yeah.
Or actually, it's kind of just like disturbing it. It turns white. You see that? Like if you just disturb it, it turns white. But if you leave it be.
I turn white when I get disturbed too.
I'm red.
You're looking a little pink there.
Definitely some stuff looks a little nasty in there. It looks a little milky. It doesn't look like shavings. Let's shine a light on that. Here we go. There you go. Look.
No sparkles.
Doesn't look like sparkles, right? Can't tell. Maybe somebody in the comments knows why this does that. Is that like water got in here? This has been open and exposed, but it wasn't open and exposed outside. I mean, just moisture from the Florida humidity, I guess, maybe?
Not that much.
But that seems like a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were going to change the fluids anyway. When I built the Evo, I basically stripped everything out of that car and changed all the fluids, and we painted the transmission, painted the block, and did all that. So we're not going to spare any expense on this. Why not? We've already gone this far. All right, so we had a little bit of coolant fall out, and we got this here. We're going to try to catch what we can.
Oh, there she goes.
Yeah, it's like peeing in there perfectly. Perfect. It was meant to be. There we go. Look at that.
Beautiful river.
We are not mixing oil and coolant and gas. This is 100% gonna not go to AutoZone and be recycled. Hold on now. Wait, where's the oil cap? Other way. Now everything is in the air. We have the engine here. We're going to jack this up and set this in place. The only problem is this thing has to come at such a severe angle. We're gonna have to get it over the top and then tilt it down, drop it into place, and magic, and done, and Bob's your uncle. All right.
It's not
cool.
that bad.
Yeah, it's easy. It's not. He's trying to stick. That's my thing. Hey, You took my thing.
Guys, Kyle has been instrumental to this project, and he has now come on board to help out every day. This was a really challenging thing to get into the car, as you can see here. We struggled quite a bit to get the right angle, to get the engine to sit in place. And not only that, we realized while putting this in, we are going to have to take off all of the extra brackets and things that stick out while putting this engine in if we don't want to scratch the fresh powder coat once the frame is done.
That stupid bolt's in the way. Hold on.
You gotta take the bolt out. Here.
You got it?
Yeah. There we go.
Aha!
Mount out.
That was easy. Whew. Okay, now let's get this engine in. Got my handy ratchet strap. Look at
It's
that.
working.
There we go. Okay, I think what we do now is we position this like this.
We'll put
We put our bolt through that.
here and there.
Let's put our bolt through that one. And then we'll tighten that to where it stays still, and we'll drop this guy in place. And I think that will be good enough.
Where'd the bolt go?
Good question. I don't
You
know
got
where
one
the nut
there, I
is.
got one here.
Okay, we'll use that one because it has a nut. And this one, I don't need these because I have smaller ones that go in here. Actually, with that being said, dropping that in, like right into place, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Couldn't ask
Okay,
for
well,
better.
this is good. This is good.
Do you want it tight?
See? There we go. We're in. Look at that.
Wow.
Ha
We're actually in.
Mechanic. I think that's how Matt says it.
Mechanic.
With the body remounted to the car, it was time to lift this thing in the air. And remember, now we have the engine in the back, so the weight has transferred. Now we reposition the arms, lift the car up in the air, just to notice that the arm is moving around pretty freely here. We definitely don't want to lift 2,000 pounds over our head with this thing moving around, so we use a ratchet strap to strap this thing into place, so we're able to get this last engine mount in.
Kyle, have you ever seen a car lift off the ground without a regular manual jack or a lift?
Yeah, we just picked one up a few minutes ago.
This is true. So anyway, this is the air jacks that New Performance provided for me. And one of the things that I wanted to do to make this extra special is when we set this in place here, I'm just gonna drop this guy down there. You can see here, she no go through. It's just gonna sit there like that. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to trace out that bottom piece right there with a silver Sharpie, and we're gonna cut it out perfectly so that when we have that sitting in there, just a tiny bit of that will sit down in there where it sits almost flush, and it will drop down perfectly through the hole. And yeah, that sounds like it's easy, but it's not, because this is gonna be a pain in the ass. All right, let's get it done. Okay, so one of the things I want to do to make sure I get as precise of a cut as possible is I'm going to measure the distance between here, and that will give me the exact circle that I need. So I'm going to try to cut the exact circle first because we want to go probably, let's say, maybe, let's just say like 1/4 of an inch or 2 mils, 2.5, 2.2 mils around extra so that there's movement and tolerance in that, because if there isn't and it hits the floor, it's not gonna be good. Yeah, it'll rip that thing right off. Air pressure is a pretty cool thing. Okay, looking at 69 millimeters. Okay, so I rethought this process. As I put the hole saw in there, I realized that this very expensive hole saw here is a little bit wobbly. I don't know if that's visible. Look at that drill bit. It's hula-in. It's you know, it's not good. Anyway, I drilled a hole in the floor. It goes all the way through, and now I've put this back in place, and I've centered my air jack in there where I want it to sit. And I came through and poked a hole in the bottom. Now let's see how centered that drill bit was when we went through there. Yeah, that's the center right there, right?
Yeah.
That would be the center.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I know that's how far off that is, I need to split the difference. But the only way that I'm going to split the difference on this is by figuring out, oh my gosh, dude, this is, yeah, I can't even take this apart. There's no way to even take this little foot off. These little feet here, you know, that's on there. No. We're gonna scribe that line. It's actually doing a really good job. Do you see that?
It is.
Someone is gonna say in the comments, you just have to change hands. Oh, that's the best sound ever. You know what we can do now? That's about where it's sitting. The good news is we're aligned with this little spot right there. The bad news is that's probably way off. But let's test fit. Let's test fit. Here we go.
Doesn't that just mean that the hole saw is smaller than the jack?
Oh yeah, I used a way smaller one, but
Okay.
I wanted it to be centered going into it, because then it was like, all right, well at least I'm starting somewhere good. But air jack pointing out. Yeah, look. So we're not bad. We're lined up. We're just gonna have to clean that up with some type of like filing tool, which is going to create a lot of dust and a lot of tragic heartbreak for me while I'm underneath there swallowing all that dust.
At least you don't need a respirator because it's only carbon dust. Right?
None of that's going in the video. None.
Oh no.
What?
Oh no.
Why?
Oh no.
No, what? Did I mess it up?
No, it's actually way closer than you thought it was going to be.
Really?
Yeah.
How close?
Like really close.
All right, moment of truth. Ground down. Let's see how close we are or how far off we are. What's your bets?
I'm thinking we're going to be off.
I'm
I
guessing.
said half an inch last time. I'm going to say half an inch this time.
I think we're close. I think it's going to be really,
You think we're close?
really.
You got some confidence in yourself, huh?
Ooh,
Oh no.
this is good.
Oh no, am I wrong?
You're way off.
Are we close?
We are. Look at that. Look
Hold
at
on. Let me take a look. Whoa!
that. Dude, look, that's centered right there.
Dude, we're spot on.
So, literally, it looks like just a tiny bit right here.
Yeah.
And I think it's it. That's it. Let's trim that tiny little bit, hook the air up to it, and watch it fly through the floor.
Oh yeah,
right here.
I want to see it tear the floor out. Why don't we just do that? Why don't you hook it up, put like a really sharp blade all the way around it, and then extend it straight through the floor?
I just put a piece of sheet metal between that and then the carbon, and it would just
Yeah.
just destroy my dream car. Gosh. Oh. Okay, so it is in place. We have the line installed temporarily just on the one. Let's see if this works. Ready? Dude, how dope is that? This is a lot of lift. So if the car is only, you know, yay high off the ground, we got like another 8 to 10 inches right there, dude.
That's enough that you could crawl under there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's back her off here. And it's actually spring loaded, so it sucks it right back into place.
Oh. Yo.
How dope is that?
That's awesome.
Okay, so now next step, I'm gonna get these side pieces in. We're gonna get these things ready. You gotta do a couple more things, and then Eric will be here. We're gonna get this wiring harness installed or fit up to the engine that we have put in, as well as the dashboard slightly installed and the dash wiring harness laid out as well. Sweet. I feel like we've accomplished a lot, and it's
Good
only
progress.
like half a day. So, woo. All right, we are back. Eric is here, and now it is time to fit up the wiring harness. I am really excited about this because this means we are ready to get everything in place for the last time. Once this is fit, once the holes are cut, once everything is lined up, once he wires up all the other little things in between, we have still a ton more to go. But anyway, Eric, what are we gonna do today with the trunk? What is the main purpose of setting this in place now that we have it mostly done?
So, so today I have the trunk like 75% of the way done. I just want to do a test fit before I finalize and epoxy the rest of it. And I'm glad I did, because one thing that I just noticed just now is I don't think I've taken the thickness of this bar into consideration. So the trunk is going to lay on top of that bar. And I think one of the connectors that I have is a little too, yeah, it's going to go too far. So.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to fit it just to see how much I have to take it down.
Well, it's good that you're a professional and that you thought ahead,
Yeah.
because I would have screwed that up, cut it into 15 different pieces, and then just zip tied it back together, because that's what we do here. Remember? And then it would have been, you would have called it, what was the name of the channel? The new name? Jack Doesn't Check It.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
see,
Jack.
I wouldn't have checked it.
Yeah, well, I didn't check it. That's something I should have checked before I left when I got the measurements. So if you guys remember from the first time I was on the channel, I roped everything out to kind of mock up the harness.
So now let's go take a look at this harness, because it looks a little different. And by a little, I mean, it looks freaking amazing. It's not fully finished yet, but that's because we have to do what we're doing here today. But let's go take a look. Now you get to take a look at my really, really cool wiring harness that Eric has done an amazing job on. Like, I love this. It's fully flexed. Look at this, doing the worm. But I mean, that is so cool. That is race car worthy, because this is a race car now. We have air jacks on it, and we have the center wiper, so that makes it a hypercar. Let's take a look at what you've done. Show me here what has changed on this harness besides what you've done.
So the most complete part is just this branch right here, and as you can see, it's fully sealed and epoxied. Now, so this right here is probably the most complete part.
It looks so good.
As you can see, it's completely sealed and epoxied, and so are the connectors. Now, a lot of people were making the comment that if it's all one color, that it'll be kind of hard to troubleshoot. Now you can kind of see why it doesn't matter what color it is, because when it's all done, it's all fully booted and sealed.
Yeah.
Now, this is common practice on race cars. If you go to like the paddock of like Indy or Formula One,
Yeah.
you'll see, yeah.
I saw that. So I was at the Aston Martin paddock.
Yeah.
Freaking dope. Those guys are awesome. If you're watching, you guys are freaking awesome, by the way. And they gave me the personal behind the scenes tour. I kind of broke free from everybody.
Yeah.
There were some other YouTubers there. We won't name them because they're not as special. I got to see what they didn't get to see. Anyway, no, but I got to see the stuff that they do, and it's the exact same thing. It is fully sealed, and you can't tell where the wires are going.
So the reason for that is, if the car is in a crash, it's for safety, really. If the car's in a crash and like there's fuel and chemicals everywhere, this sheathing is chemical resistant to all known fuels and most chemicals. And the whole thing is that you don't want your like chemicals coming in, shorting out wires, starting a fire, stuff like that. So that's why everything is completely sealed and booted. Now, on this car, it's a street car. And it's completely unnecessary. It's about as necessary as like starting an engine on the floor.
Well, you know,
yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, this is what the whole thing's going to look like when it's done. Now,
Fantastic.
There's some parts that we still have to finish, and that's what we're doing right now. Is before we finalize this last section over here, we're going to test fit it and see how much I have to adjust before.
Okay. It looks really good.
Oh, thanks, man.
Also, one of the things I noticed was we did see some people commenting, like, how do you know what wire is what wire? So,
yeah, so glad you asked that. So one thing that like the tape is protecting is the labels.
Do you have a
So,
label? I
yeah.
know I saw one over here somewhere.
Yeah, so if you look really close.
Start.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look here. You can even see where these ones weren't covered. So you have like fan 2. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. So you see here fan 2. So you have each conductor
Yes,
wire right there labeled, and that's
Yeah.
how you know what is what. And then
Yeah.
anyway, you still had to ohm it out, right? So you had to use your digital voltmeter here and
Yeah,
basically
so-
make sure it was right.
Yeah, so after a connector's done, you go ahead and you ohm it out before you you shrink the boots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the other things I wanted to show you guys was these really cool things that we have going on here, and what is in the box right here. So we already know we're using a very awesome ECU. This is good, but this is going to give us the ability to do what?
Yeah, so when you turn on your windshield wiper on your steering wheel, it communicates to this via CAN, and then this sends an output to the windshield wiper motor and turns it on. Instead of having a relay and then a fuse specifically for that, it all just goes through here.
This is going to be insane. So now that you guys have seen what we're putting on the car, how we're putting it on the car, let's get this thing fit up on there, get the holes drilled for these guys right here, because we're gonna mount these pieces up so that we have some solid, cool looking stuff going on the car. We know where everything's gonna be. I can close up all the other holes on the chassis, and then that chassis is one more step closer to getting powder coated. The business end of the car, well, technically not the business end because there's no engine up here, but we have our wiring harness coming out right here. The wiring harness is going to come up this direction, and right now we have these connectors on here, but this was built with a budget in mind. We were building this to save some money, and then I saw the connectors and I was like, I don't know, and then Eric was like, yeah, I don't really like them. He's like, let's do Milspec. So we got Milspec connectors, but what are these for? Like
No, these are actually high quality connectors. The reason why I said well, probably like I would like to get Milspec connectors is because I could get one.
It's modular too.
Yeah, one Milspec connector can replace all these connectors.
That'd be sweet.
So it'll just be one connector right here, and then it'll be easier to seal. Whereas
Yeah.
like with this, I didn't seal it yet. I'm glad I didn't, but we'd have to put a bunch of epoxy in there
Yeah.
and stuff like that to get it completely sealed.
And then you have to have shrink going all the way up to these guys and
Yeah, well, actually, this will be fine because this is actually
weather sealed.
yes, this is
Okay.
this is a completely sealed connector, and then these ends right here. That's why there's SCL at the end, is to seal it.
Okay, so let's talk about what these do and what they are here for, because we do have a lot of stuff on this car, and I don't know if we've talked about everything, but we can talk about everything today. So one of the things I'm adding, I do know that something is coming up here for that, is the front lift. But beyond that, I think the fans, and that's all I can think of. Besides, the obvious.
Yeah, so everything that's in the front, everything from headlights, turn signals, windshield wiper control,
Yep.
the fans, and then also the front hydraulic lift.
Yes, the front hydraulic lift.
Is
which-
all coming through there. And also this shielded cable right here is for wheel speed,
Oh, okay.
for
so
front wheels.
That's what's going to give us the ability to put traction control.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So that's going to go. So fun fact about Noble, when we were looking to find out how they actually gauge the speed of this car, guess how they did that? Eric, I think you know already, but if you had to guess, would you have ever guessed?
I can't remember. I know it wasn't from the. I thought it was going to be from the transmission, but apparently
No.
it wasn't.
So we did discover that on the Ford Mondeo, the transmission that they use has an actual sensor on there for speed, right? But on the Noble, they thought of a genius way to save money. By genius way, I mean they were super cheap about this. There is on one of the uprights, so the upright is like the spindle, like where the wheel actually bolts to, right? There on the back of it is a half shaft, and the half shaft is not, they call it a half shaft, it's not an axle, but it's just a stub, right? And on the back of that, you have a splined little wheel, and that wheel turns past, kind of similar to what we were doing with the crank.
Like it would be like on a normal car for the ABS.
Yes,
Actually, that's not bad. I mean that
one wheel.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
But imagine though, you're ripping around the track and that front wheel comes up a little bit and it's not getting the exact same speed as the rest of those wheels.
But here's the thing.
It's known to happen.
You're ripping around the track. You're not looking at a speedometer. I wouldn't.
Oh, I gotta know. I gotta know. It's a flex. Like, I'll probably be doing a YouTube video at the exact same time that I do it. Actually, yeah, you're right. We really don't need to know any of that. But it was kind of interesting because I remember thinking to myself, like, how are you going to find this? Well, I guess that's how you find it. So now, let's go underneath the car and let's see where we're going to get power to the inside of the cabin at. We are at the center of the car now, and we're going to explain what this little guy is right here. So I'm going to turn that over to Eric because I have no idea.
So this actually mounts right up in there on the inside of the car, and what this does is it gives a connectivity from the ECU and PCM to the inside of the car. So what it does, it gives you both power for the inside of accessories in the car and also CAN communication. Awesome.
So that's going to function with the dash display, with the keypads, and everything under there.
Everything in the car. So like the dash, the steering wheel keypad, the center keypad. We're also going to have a Bluetooth amplifier in here for the
Gotta have
stereo.
tunes, man.
So all that is going through this connector.
Sweet.
You remember the massaging seats, right?
Yeah.
No.
I got you.
Yes, I remembered. I don't fire me, Jack.
No, I got you. It's right here. This is the massaging seat. Would you like full throttle massage? Or like, like just ease into it. Or like, like where you hit the brake and then a little bit of gas and, you get that nice soft transition into a turn. Slowing down, maybe. But like slowing down is like 90.
Just let me know how it goes because I'm not riding with you. I mean,
he's going to drive it. I'm going to make him drive this car.
I'm not driving it. I'm driving on the dyno.
All right, let's see what we got going on back here.
This is validating my fear when I first came into the shop today. So right here, there are actually two Milspec connectors, and when I made the initial measurements, I measured at the bottom to the top. I didn't take this actual beam into consideration. So the connector is actually too long. So I'm gonna have to take it back and bring it down a couple inches so it has a nice, so we get a nice connection like right here. Yeah, that's why it would be nice if I build the harness actually here at the shop. I should do that.
We should, you know what? I think we can cover that. You guys are gonna see that in the next video. But I have a plan, and I think it's gonna work out great for all of us.
All right.
It's gonna be really dope.
So, all right, so we won't have these mistakes anymore. But yeah, so right here this is the part where the ECU and the PDM actually connect to the main part of the trunk. So everything that has to do with the front of the car is going this way, the fans, the front lift, the headlights and stuff like that. And then everything that has to do with the powertrain, and then the rear section of the car is going this way. And that's what we got over here. So this right here is, this is gonna be the connection for the engine harness. And then this right here is for the rest of the chassis stuff, like tail lights, actually, there's some high current stuff that's on another circuit that we don't have here, but that's for the fuel pump and a couple of fuel pump, the air compressor, and a couple other things. I didn't bring it because it's kind of small.
I want to put the Milspec connectors through right here, and you're saying you need to shorten them, right?
Yeah.
But what I really want to do is behind the seat have a really cool looking display for those ECU, PMU, and battery connections right there. And we have some parts for that. We'll go grab those and we'll be right back. And we're back. So now we have the PMU and we have the ECU. And I want to put these things on the back wall right here. So I think having the ECU right about here, having the PMU here, whatever configuration works, I think it's going to look really cool. But we are going to do a full custom interior. Can I ask you to hold these real quick,
Yep.
Eric? I want to have a really cool custom interior in this car, and I don't think this cloth looks very nice. So it is a race car, but it is also going to be a performance car, kind of where, you know, you get the GT feel, just like I did with the Evo. I really love that GT style of interior, and that's what we're gonna go with this, but we're gonna mix in bits of race car. And one of the things I wanted to do was have a carbon panel displaying the ECU and the PMU, so that it has like that another added aspect of carbon, as well as maybe leather. You know, I think leather would look good. What do you guys think? Leather on the sides and carbon on the top, right there.
Orange leather.
I thought it was a race car.
Yeah, my race car.
Oh, well.
Anyway, so also one of the things that I'm going to be getting rid of is these guys right here, because we are going to put in harnesses. This car came with harnesses from the factory, and I want to put better harnesses in it and make it look that much more race car with a 5-point harness, because I think that would be really cool. Also, you kind of get that feel when you strap into the car that you are locked in and secured, because remember, there is no safety features minus the ones that we are adding, which will be traction control. And that's it. There's no airbags. So you don't want to send it into something that is going to hurt, because it's going to hurt no matter what you do. At least you'll be still in the same place. Now I have just a little bit of rope left, and I'm going to have Eric over here rope out the interior. So we already know that, was it this one here? I think it was this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that one.
Yeah, so this one here is where we are going to enter into the car to be able to power up all of the other devices that are in the car. So I do have something here that you can test to see if it fits there, or we can do it like this. I don't think you're gonna need much space, but I'll be right back.
All right. Hey, do you know what he's talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about.
This guy.
Oh, okay.
So we have the dashboard. Now, this is not the dashboard's final form. I definitely want to make this look a little different. I'm not really a fan of how it looks, because I think it's kind of weird looking with all these bubbles and stuff going on. If you love the look of it, don't get mad at me. I'm sorry. It's just my opinion. Okay.
And yes, and this is Jack's opinion. This is not my opinion.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean much. How the heck did I get this thing out of there? That is.
Well, I don't think it goes all. Does it go? Oh, it does go all the way to the end.
It's got to go all the way to the end.
Oh wow.
Maybe I did this. Yeah, that's what I did.
Oh yeah, because this goes on top of this, so this doesn't fit under it.
Oh my goodness. This is easy. How the heck did I do this? I'm pretty sure we took this out of the car with the body off.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me see. Oh my goodness.
I bet there's people that know how to put this in that are just screaming at
They're
us.
laughing.
Tilt it!
It's 72 degrees.
This is stupid.
There you go.
So the problem that is coming out here that I'm running into. Hold on. You go down. All right.
This
There we
looked
go.
a lot easier.
It did. Okay, there we go.
Wait, hold on. Go back. It's got to go up over. There we go. Now push it.
It's got to go over that.
There
All right,
we
that's
go.
easy. Sweet.
That's a 3-person job.
You're gonna edit that out, right?
What the heck? That was really easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you need that in or out to rope this?
I need this out the way.
Damn it.
Why'd you put it in?
I don't know.
Why'd you let him put it in?
I think
you just wanted to see me struggle.
We all did.
honestly, I didn't think it was gonna take that long to put it in, or it's gonna be that much effort.
I did not
I
think
feel
that-
bad now, but
Take it back up.
I don't remember this being that hard. Okay. I'll get that out, but when I get this out, I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna let Eric rope this up. I'm gonna go get some more rope, and we need just a little bit of tape, right? We have
Yep.
tape, so we're good. All right, I'll see you guys when I get back.
Don't mind me.
oh, okay.
Just want to sit in the race car.
You want to lift it up a little bit? So,
No,
All right.
I don't want to be up in the air.
Oh no, I'm just saying so you don't have to.
Oh no,
bring
I'm
it-
good.
Okay, cool.
No, this is delightful.
Yeah.
You know, I've been drilling. I drilled 600 holes this week, and now I get to sit back and relax.
Yes.
While everybody else does work. I get to sit in the race car, and Eric gets to work around me.
Yes.
Great times.
Yes.
This isn't hooked up to anything, right?
No, it's not. Don't put this shit. You guys put in the engine, so.
I hope it's not hooked up
Yeah.
to anything. You know, I might actually be able to drive this car.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I might almost fit in it.
No, I think you'll be able.
I don't
Yeah.
fit in an event door, which is why I have the Honda Civic. You know, not because it's a $400,000 car. Just
'cause you
I don't
can't fit
fit in it. You know,
How tall are you?
6'1".
Oh man, you're fine. You'll have no
For
problem.
this car.
Yeah, you'll fit in it. 'Cause I know there's 6-foot dudes that have Nobles.
6-foot dudes with Nobles.
Yep.
Sounds like a really weird podcast. So Eric, you and I have now been working in the shop with Jack for like the last week or so now.
Yeah.
Right. And what would you say the biggest problem in the shop is?
Workspace
Workspace, organization. Hold on.
or lack of workspace.
Lack of workspace, very much so. This is what Jack doesn't show you guys. This is all Noble. All of this is Noble. There's some Noble over there. There's some Noble here. I mean, come on. I can't work under these conditions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get Jack a really cool present for the shop. And we're gonna get some new storage stuff put in here at some point. Let us know in the comments what the best system is that we could possibly get in the shop, and I'll look into some options and see what we can get.
Our friend Eric is truly an artist, and what he is doing here is a clear display of his artistry. This engine and this build and everything around the wiring would not be possible without him. So guys, once again, please give him a huge thanks in the comments below.
Eric has finished wiring up the engine as you just saw, and dude,
Well,
I'm stoked.
I wish I was finished.
You're finished. It's done.
No.
Hold on.
This is all mock-up.
Let me plug this in.
No.
It's not working. You said you were good at this.
Yeah,
You see him pull that from me? He's like, mine.
Yeah. So it's just basically it's a template.
Yeah. Sweet. So, now that all that is done, we need to get these floors in place. We're gonna cut the holes here on the side, get this thing mocked up so that we can set the ECU and everything in place right there. Dude, we are making really good progress. Let's get these floors on for the last time before we completely disassemble this car and get this thing ready for powder coat. Let's do this.
Building a car is not a one-man job, and having the right people is one of the most important things. And I just want to say thank you to my friends Kyle and Eric for making this possible. Without you guys, this build would have been impossible.
We have to lift this thing up, and it's kind of sketchy because the lift points now are moved further in, and it might be a little tippy. So let's bump this up and see if this will hold. Nope, not gonna hold. Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Oh God.
This reminds me of the McLaren. Okay, so now we got that there. Go ahead and bring it up a little bit so it touches the bottom. A little bit. There you go. Okay, lower it down. Perfect, right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a ratchet strap, and this is the highest of quality. This is from the Harborist of Freight, and it will hold, I think, probably 2,000 pounds is what this says it's rated at.
It says 2,000 pound weight rating, very safe.
Yes. So you guys feel comfortable under the car now, right?
I'll go under there. I'd go under there like this.
Yeah.
Then I'll hold the camera. I could just sit on the front.
As we go up.
Eric sits on the front. He's the first
mean,
person
how
to ride
high-
on the Noble.
Yeah. That would be kind of sketchy. Well, what do you
Remember
think
in the
about?
part where it says like anything dangerous and like unsafe being performed in this video?
Yeah.
That's gonna be dangerous and
right now.
unsafe. So we'll
Yeah.
keep Eric off the car.
Okay.
Now we check to make sure all of that hard work is gonna pay off and all of these aluminum and carbon panels are gonna meet up together nicely and bolt up as smooth as possible across the bottom of the floor.
So that was pretty easy.
Yeah, that was really easy.
Not a sweat at all.
Not even dirty. Like, turn around, Kyle. Turn around a little bit.
Am I dirty?
Just a little bit.
That's from wrestling.
Are my butt cheeks outlined in dirt?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, so as you guys can see, we have the floors on here. This looks really good. So these are the panels from the burn car right here, and this is the panel from the M400, but we have a new panel now, which we're gonna have to cut a few pieces out so that we have access to the oil pan. But I mean, dude, looks good. But back here, this is where it's at right there. Look at that. Yeah. You can see the hexagon carbon.
Carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber.
Let's take a look at how good this looks from the inside, because now the whole bottom is lined with carbon fiber on the inside as well.
Can we just
Take a minute to appreciate
the
this
flushness
beautiful
here.
work.
Oh, I mean,
Look at that.
dude. That's, I mean,
Especially like when you're from back here, it
looks dope, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
really.
you know how
I didn't know it was gonna be that nice.
you know. Okay, so last night Kyle and I were cutting that, and let's just say we almost missed. That was luck.
Close,
That was pure luck right there.
I don't think either of us thought that was going to come through as well as it did.
Nah.
Not even
That
close.
looks nice.
That
That's
looks great.
that's the original line where we first cut.
This
That's how
circle
far
right
off we
there.
were. So it's a little bit off.
Dude, it looks so nice.
Just a hair.
Just a little bit.
wanna see
Tiny bit.
Because we're professionals.
All right, let's get this thing on the ground. Let's see what the inside looks like. All right, we got a ton of work done. We got all of the carbon fiber floors cut out and they are fit up. Everything will bolt in place. We drilled out 511 holes. We installed the trunk. We put the trunk, by the trunk I mean we installed the wiring harness trunk that goes through the center. We ran it over here to the inside, and as you can see in here in the car, we have it marked now. We're gonna drill those out. We're gonna mount up our PMU and our ECU there, but look at how good these floors look. These things look insane. We have the dash fit up. The next step is modifying our dash, making it look a lot newer, a lot nicer. We're gonna make this thing look a little bit smoother than it is. But back here is where we put in all the hard work, where Kyle and I finally got this thing into the chassis. Now that we have this in the chassis, the next step is getting this thing set up for an exhaust. But if you take a look underneath here, yeah, we have our carbon fiber under tray put into place on the engine area. Totally unnecessary, but totally cool. Just like everything we've done to this car. We cut the hole in the front for the air jack so that it perfectly comes out. We cut the side panels that attach to the body, as well as our carbon diffuser. This thing is nice and tight. That is gonna be a really, really nice piece. Next, we need to go get some more parts from Joey, but after we get all those parts, we gotta take this car and get it over to get the exhaust made. We're doing custom headers. We wanna make this car sound way better than it ever sounded before. Now, it's a V6, which my friend Hans says sounds like 2 3-cylinders playing tug of war. Next time you guys see this car, it's gonna be over at the exhaust shop, getting a custom exhaust put in this car. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.